What's up, everybody? Welcome back. First episode of 2024. Here we go. Getting right into it. Happy January 3rd. Welcome back. It's Greg with Forever Progress. Today, I want to talk about relationships. And when you're a real estate agent, it is your lifeline to have the right relationships in place. I'm going to break it down. I wrote some notes down here, and I want to start with business relationships. All right. What does that look like when you're a real estate agent? Obviously, your relationships with attorneys, your relationship with inspectors, your relationship with the town, planning, city zoning, all of that. They can answer a lot of questions. Contractors, well water specialists, septic tanks, all of that. All right. So let's break each one down. Why is it important to have relationships with attorneys? Well, you pretty much have to deal with attorneys in every deal. So it is in your best interest to work well with attorneys. There are some really good attorneys, and then there are some really, really shitty attorneys. And the more you're in the business, you're going to come across them. It is what it is. We're just going to put them to the side right now, and we're going to focus on the good attorneys. When you have a great experience in a transaction with an attorney, it should be a starting point to build a relationship. When I was in the business as a agent buying and selling for my clients, my manager at the time, who was awesome, taught me that the relationship that I have with the attorneys is pivotal during the life of the transaction. So whether I was representing the seller or the buyer, doesn't matter. I'm calling the attorney. You might get their secretary, you might get their admin, whatever. Asked to be connected. There's nothing better than a quick 2-minute phone call, introducing yourself. Looking forward to working with you on this deal. I heard great things about you, and I am fully available to you. If you have any questions, here's my number. Call me or email me anytime. That quick 2-minute call pays dividends. You can also do it by email, which is great. Introduce yourself, give them a little compliment, and say, hey, listen, we're here to help each other. I'm fully available to you. And you will find out right away whether there's somebody that's going to be really good to work with, or, like I said, the other category. So you want to have attorneys on your side, no matter who you're representing, because it's a quick email or phone call to, number one, get some information for questions that need to be answered. You can also be kept up to date with what's going on in the background between the clients and the attorney, and also between attorneys on opposite sides of the deal. And because you want to be up to date, you want to be in the know. And also, you a major important factor of having a good relationship is if for some reason your client is stuck and or getting emotional in the deal or being a little bit irrational during the negotiation process, or if something comes up in the inspection or something and they're really thrown off guard and they're just not hearing what you're trying to say, their attorney is your lifeline. If you have a great relationship, you can call them up. Hey, Mr. Attorney, Mrs. Attorney, we're dealing with this issue, and I've been trying to, relate to them that this is our options. I think this is the best, in my professional opinion, way to go about it. What are your thoughts? Usually 9 times out of 10, they're in agreement with you. And you'd be like, hey, listen, can you do me a favor? Can you give them a quick call and just see if you can get them aligned with us, because they're not hearing it from me. And usually it works every time. They call them up. You know what? This is the best option, blah, blah, blah. And the deal moves forward. So they can really play a pivotal role in keeping the deal going forward if you have a good relationship with them. Also, do you have a good relationship with the town? I recently spoke to a firm, and they had about 25 agents, and I said, show of hands, Who knows the people in the towns that they do business in that work at town hall, at, planning, zoning, whatever? One hand went up, literally one. And I said, that's a problem. You want to establish relationships in the towns that you do business in. When you're representing a buyer, you want to go to town and pull up all the information on that property. You want to do the same thing if you're representing the seller. I spoke about it in a previous episode. So when you're there, introduce yourself, leave a card. Let's be honest, most agents don't do this. Most agents don't treat people with respect, and they have an attitude and an ego about them. So when you come across cool and professional and wanting to learn and not what I was just saying, they really gravitate towards that. I'll just use me as an example. There was a couple towns that I constantly did business in, and I was constantly going into town, pulling records, and I was seeing the same people, obviously, all the time, week after week, to the point where we came in, smiled at each other. What's the address, Greg? And they would just go pull it. And that's what you want. And I would maybe every couple months buy the office coffee, buy the office donuts, whatever. It pays dividends. It got to the point where I didn't have to physically go to town anymore. I can call them up. Hey, Mary, I need 123 Main Street. All the info you got on it, please. Sure, Greg, I'm emailing it over in 5 minutes. Done. Now, if you don't have good relationships, guess what? It's going to be a pain in the ass to get that information. Now that you have a good relationship, it's a phone call away, and it just helps your business that much more. You also want to have good relationship with inspectors, because we all know inspectors can blow a deal up over silly things. You want to have a relationship with inspectors, whether you're representing buyers or sellers, it doesn't matter, because you want them to diffuse the situation. You don't want to hold up a closing because of you don't have an outlet cover, a 59-cent at Lowe's or Home Depot outlet cover. There are some inspectors that'll just, shut the whole studio down and stop the deal. Hold on, everybody. This is a major problem. If you have good relationships with them, you can speak with them and be like, hey, listen, we'll take care of it. I'll take care of it, whatever. Let's keep it moving. There's no need to ruffle any feathers over something silly. Obviously, it's a big ticket item or a big deal, or if something's not up to code, totally different story. But for silly little things, keep it moving, and you need to have that rapport with them, which is a good relationship with them. You also want to have contractors and tradesmen. I I never, when someone says, "Oh, do you have a good roofer? Do you have a good drywall person? Do you have a good floor person?" In my opinion, this is how I was taught, and I agree with it. I never just gave one name, because usually a lot of the scumbag realtors out there are on the take, and they give one name because they get a kickback. I used to give a list. Here's 5 people that I know, that I've worked with. It's your choice. I've worked with all of them. I can speak highly of them, but why don't you call all them and you make your own choice on who you feel comfortable with? And that always paid dividends for me as well. So I like to have good relationships with different tradesmen, and I would make a master list and I would forward it off to my clients. Here you go. Here's everybody I know. I have cleaners, painters, roofers, electricians, plumbers, septic tank guys if you have a septic tank, well water guys if you have well water, paving a driveway. I have all those people. I had 3 to 5 different options for each of those categories. Here you go. You also have to be comfortable giving that information up, which I spoke about before. A lot of people don't like to give that, especially to their buyers, because the old saying, buyers are liars. They're going to use you and use another realtor. That's the name of the game. It is a gamble, and it's your choice to roll the dice. I say roll it. It is what it is. So you want to have good relationships with everybody, because you want to, number one, look professional and be professional, but also all of those people know people that need to buy or sell. And if you're cool and if you're professional and buttoned up and you service your clients, whose name are they going to give each and every time if someone comes to them? Hey, do you know a realtor? Do you know how many attorneys would throw me business just because I had a good relationship with them? It pays off tenfold down the road. Remember, bigger picture. You're in this game for the long run. This is a marathon, not a sprint. All right. This is not overnight success in this business. It takes time to build. Also, speaking to that, when attorneys and all of that refer business, it's also good to refer obviously them business. They're on your list, but you want to maintain the relationship. You might have a good relationship with an attorney and you might not see their name or do a deal with them for a very long period of time. It's normal. It happens in the business. Try to at least do a touch base every month and a half or so, whether it be an email. Hey, just thinking of you. Hope business is well. Gave your name to somebody. Let me know if they called, just to stay top of mind. All right. You want to keep these relationships going. All right. Next, I want to talk about your relationship with your clients. All right. It doesn't matter, buyer or seller. You have to establish boundaries. All right. They have to understand that you also have a life. You are not at their beck and call. However, you are a full service professional. If I'm up, I'm responding to an email, but don't take advantage of it. All right. You don't need to call me at 2 in the morning because you want to know if there's wood underneath the carpet in one of the bedrooms. That's the boundaries you have to establish. But respect and trust is a two-way street. They have to respect and trust you, which you have to earn. But a little bit of advice for the newer agents, they also have to do that for you too, especially on the buy side. You want to know that when you take them out on a Sunday and you're seeing 6 houses or 6 apartments, that the next Monday or during the week, they're not out with another broker, another agent looking at houses or apartments, because now you're spinning your wheels. A lot of the public is misinformed and they think that the more agents that they use, the better their chances are of getting something. Little do they know we all have the same access. So it's your job to educate them on that. And that's all part of their relationships, especially in your initial, when you're feeling each other out and getting to know each other. All these conversations have to be had in the beginning. All right. And they have to allow you to do your job and present any and all information, because that is your job. And then once they decide on something, you become a problem solver. Hence, all the relationships that I just mentioned previously in the business. And when you have them, you look like a rock star, and your referrals and your testimonials are going to be awesome. All right. I also want to talk about the relationship you have with the firm you're with, because that's important. All right, let's break it down. You're with a firm. That firm usually and should have a manager at a local level, at the local office. The relationship you have with that manager is pivotal, because they have a certain amount of power to make your life better and easier, or they can really put, some unneeded pressure on you and unneeded stress during a deal. And the only way you can do that is you have to have a good relationship with them. I'm not saying you have to be friends with them, you got to be buddy buddies, but there's a professional level of respect between manager and agent. And you can leave it at that. That's fine. But a lot of egos are in this business, and egos tend to turn into the bitchiness, or people are assholes. And when agents are always pushing the envelope in a negative way, they're always getting fines put on them by town. They're getting a bad reputation by the clientele and the public. And also they have a bad reputation with the community of agents that they're doing deals with. That's a problem. I used to get rid of those agents when I was a manager. And I don't care if they were there 30 years, you're out, because it's a cancer to the office. So you don't want to be that agent, because as big as the world is, this community is small. We see each other and work with each other every day, every week, and you will be labeled as the pain in the ass agent, and that's not fun. Nobody wants to do deals with that. You want to be the agent where when another agent's looking at properties for their clients and your name pops up, they're like, "Yes, I know that's going to go smooth, and that's going to be a great experience for my clients." And unfortunately, that's rare because most of the agents aren't good. They're not buttoned up, they're not professional, and they're not nice to other agents. They let the egos creep in, and they all want to one up each other when they can't even find their way out of a paper bag during a deal. All right. So you want to be professional on all levels with your business, with your contacts, and with the relationships you have with your community and the relationship you have with other agents. And getting back to the relationships with the attorneys, it's also crucial because when I was with this group last week, I also asked who goes to closings. And you would think I asked the most effed up question because they all looked at me like I had 10 heads. They were so confused. They're like, what? What does he talk closing? Who goes to a closing? Listen, I know I'm a dinosaur, but it's not that long ago that I was buying and selling with my clients. I went to every closing, whether I was representing the buyer or the seller, and I'll explain. My manager, who I loved in the past and taught me pretty much everything in the business, said, "You get your ass to the closing no matter what. You are a full service agent and it's going to pay off." And obviously, I did what she said, and she was absolutely right. Now, I understand with COVID, a lot of things aren't done at the table anymore. It's virtual or they're separate. I'm going to get to that in a second, how you can handle that and go about that. So, I'm representing a seller. Obviously, I'm going to the closing because I want to make sure there's no hiccups at the end. And a lot of things can happen at the last minute where a deal might be off. The two parties might not agree a last minute thing, and you want to be the calm, cool, collected head there, because you remember you have everybody there. The finance for the mortgage, if you're getting one, the bank, you have both attorneys and you have buyer and seller. So if something happens, they all butt heads. You got to be the mediator, which I've been many times. And it's if you weren't there, it might not close. And that's a problem. It doesn't close, you don't get paid. And your clients will, at the end of the day, always blame you, as they should, because you are a full service agent. You should have been there. Also, when you are a buyer's agent, and new agents, listen up, this is important, especially with first time home buyers. They're scared. They've never been to a closing table. It could be very, very intimidating. We do this every day. We see this. I've been to a million closings, and they can be fun. I've been to a lot of fun ones. There's music playing, the attorneys are cool, everyone's explaining the documents, signing, and everyone's happy. That's how it should be. It should be a good thing. And if I'm representing first time home buyers, I want to be there because you have been their rock throughout the entire process. You have been the person they're looking to for answers and to feel a sense of security. Well, guess what? You're at the goal line and you're not there. And they turn and they have a question, or they weren't told something, and where are you? You should be right next to them to explain that. All right. You can take a couple hours, an hour. I don't know. The longest closing I was at, I think, was like an hour and a half. It wasn't even that bad. Usually it's like 45 minutes to an hour. And you make the time for that. And it just makes them feel better. It makes you look better. And that's also getting back to how you build relationships with attorneys, with bankers, with all of that. And countless times, My main point of going to closings, I have been with my clients on either side, buyer or seller, and the other agent isn't there on the other side. Okay. And when that client sees the level of service that I give my clients, they always ask for my card. And everyone's like, oh, well, if they sold, they don't need you. Listen, you don't know that. They might have a lot of family. They might have friends. They might want to buy something. They might want to rent something. I don't care. I just want their business. And now I have their business because I don't care what relationship they had with their agent. Their agent's not there at the end of the day. I am happy to give you my card. Here you go. And you're off and running. And now you have another point of contact because they're going to email you. They're going to call you. And you also have their information. And you can be like, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And now you potentially have another avenue for business. So it is important to be there. Now, getting back to what I said, oh, well, Greg, a lot of closings don't happen face to face. Okay, fine. They don't happen face to face. However, you do know who the other side is, the other side's attorney. You do know where their office is. Drive over there after the closing, introduce yourself, bring something, bring chocolates, bring coffee. I don't know, bring a bottle of scotch. I don't care. Bring something and your business card and say, hey, listen, I just want to say thank you. This was great working with you. I know it's a little, odd that we all don't sit down at the closing table, but I really appreciate what you did. Here's my card. If you know anybody that needs any help, I'm always here. Thanks again. And by the way, and always ask, do you have any cards for me? They will give you their cards. That's how you build relationships. And that's how you look and scale more professional. All right. You look like $1,000,000. 99% of agents out there do not do this because they're lazy and they feel like they don't have to. They all want to call themselves full service, and they're the farthest thing from it. Full service means full service. All right. There's always a way to get contact. All right. So just want to say thanks for listening. Relationships are huge. Relationships are huge. Lastly, the relationship you have with yourself. What do I mean by that? This is going to sting some people, but in sales and in real estate, you are a walking business card. Like personal trainers are walking business cards. If you're fat and out of shape, who's going to want to train with you? So you want to be in shape. You want to take care of yourself. Number one, just for the overall health benefits, but also you want to look good because you're out there in the public eye and people want to be attracted to you to do business. If you're in shape and on point, that means you take the time to invest in yourself, you care about yourself, and you take the time to put into yourself. People want people like that in business. All right. So work out, eat healthy. It will increase your business in time. It definitely will. All right. Because it just sets standards within yourself, which will bleed into your business. And you really want to have a work-life balance. Now, in this business, we all get into it. We can make as much money as we want, and we don't have to punch a clock, which is awesome. But some people need that. So when you're not quote unquote 9 to 5, you got to be able to handle that. So you need the work-life balance. I was always working, but I always made time for myself and my friends and my family because you need that in order to succeed in life and succeed in your business. So just to reiterate, relationships are huge in all facets of the business. Make sure you're doing your part to build good relationships. It will only help your business, which will make you more money, which gets you closer to your goals. Thanks for listening. Happy 2024, and it's going to be an awesome year. So till next time, go crush it.